Hey guys, Brian with Cajun Cardboard coming at you from the great state of Louisiana, and today's episode's real simple. I want to collect Victor Wembanyama, the most impressive rookie. I want to collect his cards, probably a generational talent, one of the greatest rookie seasons of all time. I want to collect his cards, and I am pissed off that I just can't do it. I can't get myself to overlook the financial idiocy required to go purchase his rookie cards, to go chase his Prism Rainbow, to go buy his autograph stuff. It's an impossibility. It's not going to happen. I'm pissed about it. And really, that's what today's video is about. First, we're going to talk about Victor Wembanyama. I'm going to talk about his rookie season. We're going to compare his rookie season to some of the greatest that have ever done it. We're going to compare his last season defensively to Rudy Gobert in a manner of speaking. Then we're going to go look at some Victor Wembanyama card prices, and then we're going to kind of put it all together and just sort of, I guess, come back to where we began, which is I really wish I could go buy this kid's cards, and I just can't do it. I'd love to be along for the ride for the next 20 years with this freak of nature, this extraterrestrial that we call Wemby, and I just can't do it. And so that's what this video is about today. Hopefully you guys enjoy it. Some really interesting statistical stuff and some analysis that we're going to look at. It's going to kind of put Victor Wembanyama into historical perspective, at least thus far in his career. Hopefully you guys enjoy the video. Are you tired of selling your cards on eBay, creating the listing, taking the pictures, front, back, shipping, non-paying bidders? Let the pros at Fanatics Marketplace do all of the work for you. I do. That's why I use Fanatics for my vaulting and for my selling. If you've got a bunch of unwanted inventory that you've been sitting on for days, weeks, months, years, ship it to Fanatics Marketplace and let them do all the work. Just make sure when you ship it, you use the promotional code CAJUN, all capital letters, CAJUN, and tell them that Cajun Cardboard sent you, and let the pros do the rest at Fanatics Marketplace. All right, let's get cranking. As usual, you know I'm going screen share, and my go-to place whenever we're looking for data, whenever we're looking for stats, whenever we're looking for a place to sort of numerically substantiate our prognostications, we go to basketballreference.com. Real simple. It is the Bible of basketball statistics. You can create or destroy any argument you want to about any player in the history of NBA basketball by going to basketballreference.com. I've got Victor Wembanyama's profile page pulled up. We know everything about this kid because people have been talking about him for 2-3 years now. 7'4", he's 209 right now. Here's the thing, right? So the number one knock against Wembanyama is tall, skinny guys get hurt. Well, that has happened in the past. Tall, skinny guys have got hurt. But the fact of the matter is, dude played 71 games out of 82 games last year as a 19-year-old, and he only weighed 209 pounds. That's pretty durable. So check in the box of durability after year one for Victor Wembanyama. Here's the thing. He's 209, or at least he was listed as 209 on his basketball reference. I am guessing we're going to see a 225-pound Victor Wembanyama next season, 2024, 2025. By the time the season starts, I'm guessing he's going to be about 225. Again, that's still not the biggest dude in the world. That's like what Dwayne Wade weighed. But my guess is the next season, he probably pushes the 250 number. And now you're starting to talk about some of the heavier players in the entire league. And so I think when Victor Wembanyama hits his prime, remember the kid's, 20 years old? By the time he's 24, you're probably looking at a 250 to 260 pound player who still is going to look thin because it's stretched out over 7'4". But I think you're talking about a whole nother animal that mankind has never witnessed before. And I know I'm going to speak glowingly about the guy. I do want to reiterate to you guys, I do not own a Wembanyama card. I do not own one card. I cannot get myself to cross that threshold and pull that trigger. I just can't do it. They're just too valuable, too expensive, I should say. And the big problem is there's just too many of them. I wouldn't mind buying a very expensive card of the kid. There's just too many of them. And I don't think all of these cards that are selling for 5 figures are going to matter 5 years from now, no matter what Victor Wembanyama does. We saw the same type of stuff happen with Doncic, and Victor Wembanyama's cards are going to be printed ad infinitum compared to Luka Doncic. And again, Luka Doncic 5 times consecutive first-team All-NBA. That's a pretty big deal, and just got to his first finals. All right, so let's see. He's a 21, 10, and 4 assists. The 4 assists is what pretty much separates him, right? That lets you know he sees things that most 7'4" dudes don't see. 46.5% from the field. That seems low for a 7'4" dude. But the catch is, dude chucks up a lot of threes. He shot 32.5% from 3. That ain't great, but I see his stroke. I see his balance. I see as he gets stronger and as he gets to the 250, 240, 250 pound frame, it actually improves your shooting. Trust me, as somebody who played basketball, the heavier you are, the stronger you are, the bigger and stronger your foundation, namely your legs, your hips, your waist, your butt, and all of that stuff is, the better your shooting percentage, because your balance is going to be significantly better. And we're just not there. He's rail thin, and he's going to end up being rail thin, but only less rail thin. When he gets to 250, his field goal percentage from 3 is probably going to jump into the, I'd say at least the mid 30s, maybe even high 30%, which is scary because you can't contest it. It cannot be contested. He shot 80% from the free throw line, and that is always a great indicator of a player's ability to improve as a perimeter shooter in the NBA. 23.1 PER, obviously that is astronomical for a rookie. It is phenomenal, fantastic. 15 being the average PER for an NBA player. All right, so let's get cranking. What do we want to do first? First, I want to just show you his game logs, because what I want to concentrate on here is, let me hit game logs, let me hit 23, 24. I want to show you how much better he got in the second half of the season. Now look, he came out of the doors guns blazing. We know that, right? So we've got it pulled up here. You know, we're talking 15, 5, and 2 for his first game. His minutes were a little bit more limited, 21, 11, 18, and then he explodes in his 5th game in the NBA for 38 and 10, 2 assists, a steal, and 2 blocks. Nutso numbers. Then he kind of regresses, I say regresses, he reverts back to the mean, and he does what rookies do. He's figuring it out. He's not even sure what his role is, what his purpose is. Remember, these jackasses in San Antonio who are supposed to be geniuses are either A, not geniuses because they wanted Jeremy Sohan to be the starting point guard, a guy that can't dribble, pass, or shoot, or they knew Jeremy Sohan would be a dog of a point guard, and they're trying to lose more games to get a better pick to pair Wemby with another player the next season. So I think it's probably a little bit of both. I think they wanted Sohan to be a great point forward. The problem is he just sucks. He's not any good at basketball, and that did not work out. When they put Trey Jones at the point, who is by no means an elite point guard, you saw Wemby's numbers take a humongous step forward. So he goes through a little rocky phase here, over here, maybe games 10 through 18 through 20. But I want to kind of fast forward to exactly halfway through his rookie year and just listen to the numbers that I'm going to throw at you. 24, 8, 4, 6 blocks. 33, 7, 2, 2 blocks. 24, 12, 4, 4 blocks. 23, 12, 4, 2 blocks. 23, 10, 6, 2 blocks. And then 22, 21. So he goes through a stretch here where he scores over 20 points in 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 straight games. And that's when you sort of knew we might be looking at something special. And then all of those 22, 23, 21 point games, well, about 20 games later, when you start to get into maybe the 55th, 60th game of the season, those start becoming 26, 27, 28, sometimes 30 point games. And that's where all hell breaks loose, because his rebounds then became consistent and he was getting consistent minutes. He was only playing, remember, he was on a minutes restriction. This kid was playing 27, 28, 29 minutes. In these games, listen, he played 27, 31, 30, 26, 34, 32, 31, 30 minutes, right? But look at his scoring in those games. 27, 26, 19, 27, 22, 17, 28, 31. Those are humongous numbers for limited minutes like that when you're playing 30 minutes a game. I mean, if you go look at Tatum and you go look at Doncic and you go look at some of these other folks that are always pushing to lead the league in scoring, even the LeBrons, they're playing high 30s. They're not playing 29 minutes a game. And so that's what gives me the most confidence that this kid is absolutely off the charts special. Towards the end of the season, he had a 40 point, 20 rebounds, 7 assists, 2 steals and 4 block game. That's just abnormal. Those are Wilt Chamberlain, those are Bob Pettit, those are Elvin Hayes, those are Bill Russell type numbers. And again, Bill Russell didn't score 40 very often. So that's just a look at Victor Wembanyama. He finished the season on a massive, massive uptick. Now, here's one thing that pissed me off, and I've said it and I shouted it from the mountaintops. And I know people are going to say, positional defense, your team has to win. Rudy Gobert won the Defensive Player of the Year, and I think that was an absolute travesty. I think it was sad. I think it was despicable, and I think it was a mistake. And let me show you why. Again, we're not going to talk only about steals and blocks because that is not the best matrix. It's a measurement for Defensive Player of the Year, but it's not the best measurement for the Player of the Year. But if we look at Rudy Gobert, he blocked 0 shots 9 times last season. Do you know how many times Victor Wembanyama in 71 games didn't block a shot? Twice. He blocked a shot in 69 out of 71 games. If we look up here, look at these Rudy Gobert numbers right here. Rudy Gobert blocked 5 or more shots 4 times in last season. Victor Wembanyama did it 24 times, almost 5x. Rudy Gobert blocked 3 or 4 shots 21 times. Victor Wembanyama did it 20 times. And he blocked 1 or 2 shots 25 times. It's just one of those deals where if you kind of look at it, there's Victor Wembanyama. I've got his last season sorted by blocks. He blocked 6'6", 5'5", and then a bunch of 4s. Victor Wembanyama blocked 10, 9, 8, 7, 7, 7, 7, 7, 6, 6, 6, 6, 5, 5, 5, 5, 5. You get the point. You've got 25, let's see. Victor Wembanyama went 33 games deep with 4 or more block shots, many of those over 6. And Rudy Gobert went 13 games deep doing that. That's kind of a big deal. That's kind of a big difference right there between the two. And let's go back. Hold on. What did I just do with, there we go. Yep. So, and then Victor Wembanyama, total number of steals. Let's see. He blocked, how many games? Let's see. He had 1 or 2 steals in 45 games. Gobert had 0 steals in 39 games. Victor Wembanyama had 0 steals in half as many games. It just, when it comes to steals and blocks, I think it was better. I think he should have been the Defensive Player of the Year, and you can go look at all the different stuff. And again, keep in mind, he's doing this on a terrible team and a lot of blowout games with not much defensive help around him in Rudy Gobert. And again, it cuts both ways. Rudy Gobert was a big reason the Timberwolves were one of the best defensive teams in the NBA. And, one of the reasons he won Rookie of the Year is because his teammates it's one of the best supporting casts defensively in the entire NBA with a bunch of versatile, switchable guys like Jaden McDaniels and Anthony Edwards and folks like that. And believe it or not, Conley's actually not a bad defender either, even though he's a munchkin. So that's just gripe number 1. He should have won Defensive Player of the Year. But I wanted to kind of stress to you guys just how abnormal it is for a player to block 10 shots, 9 shots, 8 shots, 7 shots, 7 shots, 7 shots, 7 shots, 7 shots when you're talking about playing 28 minutes a game, 30 minutes a game, and stuff like that. So his numbers are only going to amplify and only going to increase. All right, let's compare him to some other world-famous rookies of the year, right? So I've got the all-time rookie of the year list pulled up in the NBA, and you can see most of these guys recently have been 20 or 19 years old. That's normal now. Brogdon was the exception. He was 24 coming out of Virginia as the ACC Player of the Year. You've got, Michael Carter-Williams. Do you remember him? Do you remember, like, in one of his first games in the NBA, it was a triple-double? And you've got Damian Lillard was a little older coming out of Weber State, and Michael Carter-Williams was a little bit older when he was drafted by the Philadelphia 76ers during the process. And if we get back, as we go further back, then most of the players are going to be 22, 21, 23 years old, dating back into the late 90s, back into the 80s. But let's compare Victor Wembanyama over and over to some of the greats that have ever done it. So the first person that comes to mind, the most recent rookie phenom that hit the ground and exploded was Blake Griffin. Okay, so we're going to compare him to Blake Griffin. Now remember, Blake Griffin missed his entire rookie season with that terrible knee injury, the leg injury where he fell after a dunk, if I recall. And so Blake was a little bit older his next year, and he was still eligible to win Rookie of the Year, and he did. And so here's what it looks like. Blake played 82 games that year, which is impressive. He actually averaged more points and rebounds than Wembanyama, and I've actually seen some not so sophisticated people on social media say, well, Blake Griffin had a better season than Victor Wembanyama because he averaged more points and rebounds. Well, number one, he played a hell of a lot more minutes, right? And so we need to compare, on a per 36-minute basis, it's not even close. Wembanyama destroys Blake Griffin, even in the points and rebound category. But look at all the other stuff in green for Victor Wembanyama. More assists than Blake Griffin, and he was a very good passer. He does not get a lot of credit for that, Blake Griffin. More steals than Blake Griffin, and then 7 times as many blocks as Blake Griffin per game. His field goal percentage was a little lower, and it's a very obvious reason why. He shot a hell of a lot more threes. He shot a higher 3 percentage than Blake Griffin, and then the big difference is that he shot almost 80% from the line. Blake shot 64%. Better effective field goal percentage than Blake, despite the much lower field goal percentage, and again, that goes back to his three-point shooting prowess. And then 5.2 BPM, and then 3.8 VORP. He did make an all-defensive team. Blake made an all-star team. Wembanyama absolutely, unequivocally should have made an all-star team, but did not because his team was dog ass. And so advantage Victor Wembanyama, honestly, is not really even close, to be quite honest with you, especially if you take into account the minutes played category. Next, let's compare him to another phenom. We're working our way backwards historically to Yao Ming, who also played 82 games his rookie year, which is crazy because he had a short career because of injuries. But this is not even remotely close. Now, the one thing we can know about Yao, and if you are old enough to have watched this guy play, he was an elite shooter. And I don't mean he could shoot it well for a big man. I am telling you, like, back to about 19, 20, 21 feet, he might have been one of the best shooters in the entire NBA, and I don't think that's, any exaggeration. But Yao was 13, 8, and 2. Victor Wembanyama was 21, 10, 4. He had 3 times as many steals, and he had twice as many blocks as 7'5" Yao Ming. The only place that Yao led Victor Wembanyama would have been in the percentages. As we mentioned, he was an elite shooter. He shot 50% from 3. I don't think he took very many, but 50% from the field, 50% from 3, 81% from the line. So 50, 50, 80 is pretty impressive for a 7'5" dude. Effective field goal percentage, again, going back, taking into account threes, is still Victor Wembanyama advantage. So the one thing Yao had over him was his shooting prowess, but from an effective field goal percentage measurement standpoint, Victor blows him out of the water. Twice the BPM, box plus minus, and then 1.3 more value over replacement player. Again, all defensive for Wembanyama, and then all-star for Yao Ming. Again, timing is everything, and Yao's team could not possibly have been as bad as the Spurs team. So, advantage Victor Wembanyama. Now let's compare him to LeBron James. What? They don't even play the same position. I don't care. We're going to compare him. Check out the green in Victor Wembanyama's category. It's not even close. And I'm not here telling you that Victor Wembanyama is going to play 21 years like LeBron James, or 23, or however many years he ends up playing. I'm not saying he's going to be a better player than LeBron James. I'm not saying he plays the same position. I'm not saying his numbers are going to be better after his career is over. I'm simply saying his rookie year demolished LeBron James' rookie year, and it's honestly not really even close. LeBron was 21, 5.5, 5.9 with 1.6 steals. He shot a paltry, horrible 41.7% from the field. He shot a disgusting 29% from the three-point line, and he shot a very pedestrian, mediocre 75% from the line with an awful, absolutely awful 43.8% effective field goal percentage. Victor Wembanyama's numbers dwarf LeBron James' rookie year numbers. Again, even in the aggregates, he dwarfs LeBron James in points and rebounds. And obviously, he's going to rebound more. He's 7'4", allegedly. I think he's probably taller than that. But you got to remember, again, let's go back to it. Victor Wembanyama was playing, how many minutes a game did we decide Victor Wembanyama played as a rookie? God, scroll, baby. Scroll for me. It's not up there. Okay, so we'll scroll down. We'll figure it out. Let's get back to it. Okay, so he destroys LeBron James. It's not even close. He made an all-defense. LeBron did not make an all-star team, nor should he have. His team was awful, just like Wemby's. What about Victor Wembanyama and Shaquille O'Neal? Okay, Shaquille O'Neal, more points and more rebounds because he was arguably, since Wilt Chamberlain, the most dominant physical offensive force that the game has ever witnessed. He was 23.4 and 14. I would have loved to have seen if Victor Wembanyama got the same minutes that Shaquille O'Neal got if he could have eclipsed 23 and 14. I think it's possible. I really do, especially with the numbers that we saw Victor Wembanyama putting up in the second half of the season. Obviously, assists, steals, blocks. He edges out Shaq in blocks in an era where no one blocks shots anymore because everybody's hoisting threes or uncontested layups because the floor is so spread in this pace and space world that we live in. He still blocked more shots than Shaq, who was a hell of a shot blocker his rookie season. And so twice as many assists, significantly more steals, almost double. Shaq shot an incredible field goal percentage and an incredible effective field goal percentage because despite what most people say, his rookie year, he really did dunk almost everything. I know he developed a little bit of a post game, but Shaq, his rookie season, specifically in Orlando, he really did dunk almost everything. Obviously, Shaq took no threes. I think he made 1 3 in his entire career. I think he banked one from half court at the end of a quarter. And then Shaq's free throw percentage was disgusting, of course. So Shaq made an all-star team. He did not make an all-defensive team, and there's really 2 really good reasons for that. David Robinson and Akeem Olajuwon. So good luck, Shaq, making an all-defensive team with those 2 freaks of nature defensively playing. So I would still say right here, advantage Victor Wembanyama. Now, obviously, he didn't have the effect on the San Antonio Spurs that Shaquille O'Neal had on the Orlando Magic. So I can see how an argument would be made. Shaq's influence on his team was greater than Victor Wembanyama, but good Lord, the Spurs were trying to suppress Victor Wembanyama, and they still couldn't do it with limited minutes. All right, now the big comparison here. You're talking about the greatest power forward that ever lived. Yes, we are talking about Derek Coleman. No, I'm just kidding. We're talking about Tim Duncan. Victor Wembanyama rookie season versus Tim Duncan. I think people forget Tim Duncan rebounded the hell out of the ball, 11.9. So he beats Wembanyama in that category, but really other than that, it ain't that close. He did shoot a really good field goal percentage, just like Shaq, no threes, just like Shaq, extremely high effective field goal percentage, but advantage to Victor Wembanyama in the majority of the categories here, and in the assist, steals, block category, it is not even remotely close. Again, it is impressive to see Shaq and Duncan and all these guys playing 80, 81, 82 games. That is impressive. Now, here's the thing. Tim Duncan, this is where all hell breaks loose. He made the first team All-NBA as a rookie. He made All-NBA as a rookie. He made All-Defensive Team as a rookie, and he made the All-Star Game as a rookie. And so all Victor has to show for that is an All-Defensive Team. So I don't know. That's probably a push. It's probably a wash right there. And again, it ain't fair to compare the effect that Tim Duncan had on the Spurs with Victor Wembanyama in the Spurs, because Victor Wembanyama did not have David Robinson and Sean Elliott and all those folks on his roster. He had Trey Jones and Jeremy Sohan and a bunch of other no-names that may or may not end up being pretty good players. Devin Vassell, the list goes on. What about we start getting into the elite of the elite, right? The only way you can get better than Tim Duncan and Shaq is you got to take a step forward and compare him to the great Larry Joe Bird. Bird, believe it or not, played 82 games his rookie year, way back in 1980. Bird's numbers almost identical on the points and rebounds. And again, another player that people forget rebounded the hell out of the ball. Yeah, this 6'9" white dude could rebound the hell out of the ball. He was nasty. He was strong. He was country strong, as they like to say. 21 and 10 for Bird, 21 and 10 for Victor. That's a push. Bird more assists. Bird more steals. Victor, obviously, 6 times as many block shots. Bird, a better field goal percentage, 3-point percentage, and free throw percentage. Advantage Bird. So Bird had a better rookie year than Victor Wembanyama, and certainly the effect that Bird had on his team was unparalleled compared to Victor Wembanyama. Bird was first team All-NBA, an All-NBA, and an All-Star. He did not obviously make an All-Defensive team, although he's a better defender than most people think. So if we're going to check Bird, we got to check Magic, right? Same thing. More points and rebounds than Magic. We expected that, but Magic's assists as a rookie were insane. 18, 7, and 7 Magic was as a rookie. 2.4 steals a game is elite. Blocks per game, Wemby has, again, 6 times as many. Field goal percentage, Magic shot great field goal percentage for a guard because he was big and he moused in the house people. And a pretty good free throw shooter his rookie year. Obviously, he continued to be an exceptional free throw shooter over time. So I think advantage Magic here. So Magic and Bird have an advantage over Wembanyama, but look how far back we had to go in time to find a player that, clearly was superior statistically to Victor Wembanyama. And again, remember, I'm going to keep throwing this out there. Limited minutes, people. Limited minutes. If they unleash this, and your argument may be, well, he can't. He's too tall and thin. He can't play 37 minutes a game. Maybe he can't. But we don't know that. We haven't seen that. So maybe he will, maybe he won't. But good Lord, look out NBA if he does, because a lot of the ultra-modern records are going to go down. He's never going to be able to eclipse the Wilt Chamberlain stuff because Wilt just screwed up all the record books for all time. But Victor Wembanyama compares favorably, if not better than, every single player that we've looked at until we get back to the year 1980. Guys, that was 43 years ago, 44 years ago we had to go to find people with stat lines and across the board like a Victor Wembanyama. All right, what about the greatest of all time? What about the GOAT, Michael Jeffrey Jordan? Again, not close, okay? So we're going back here to what, 84? Jordan played all 82 games. Imagine that, surprise, surprise. He averaged 28 a game, which is a pretty big number. Wembanyama more rebounds, but people forget Jordan was not just a scorer. People are like, well, he just shot it every time. Well, okay, well, he averaged 6 assists a game, which is one less than Magic his rookie year. 2.4 steals a game, twice as many as Wemby. Blocked 0.8 shots a game, which is a pretty big number for a guard, and then 51% from the field, shooting almost exclusively, perimeter, mid-range stuff. No threes is what I meant to say. 17% from three. He was not a three-point shooter, nor did he attempt three-point shots his rookie season. And then 84.5% from the line. Jordan was always an elite free throw shooter. Wembanyama nudges him with the effective field goal percentage, but look at the box plus minus and the VORP for Jordan. Those are filthy numbers. I mean, going back to Magic and Bird, I don't think they had anything remotely close to that. 4.8. Bird, 4.5, 4.8. Jordan, 7.3, 7.4. He was obviously all NBA and he was obviously an all-star. So Jordan, check. Bird, check. Magic, check. Everybody else, Victor Wembanyama, check, including the great Tim Duncan, in my personal opinion. And then this is funny. We were just going to look at this because they didn't keep track of steals, blocks, and they didn't take threes because they didn't exist, and they didn't keep track of box plus minus or VORP. But Wilt Chamberlain's rookie year, he was 37.6 and 27 rebounds. So we're going to go ahead and say advantage Wilt Chamberlain in that aspect. So let's tie it all together. What are we here to talk about, right? I wanted to bring it back to how great Victor Wembanyama's rookie season was, how much I would like to jump on the Wemby train and just ride the, well, I shouldn't say that. It's going to sound terrible. How much I would like to be a part of Victor Wembanyama's career for the next 10, 12, 15, God willing, 20 years. The kid's young. And so here's the problem. I'm just going to pull up, and this is not the card I'd buy, right? But let's just pull up his Prism Silver PSA 10. It's been graded by PSA 3,143 times already, and it's got a 72% gem rate. It's $1,000. That doesn't make any sense. There's 2,275 Prism Silver PSA 10 Victor Wembanyamas, and that is a 72% gem rate. That doesn't include the 850 billion other parallels that Wembanyama has from Prism, Prism Choice, Select, Optic. Go through the categories. It's one after another. There's going to be a million, zillion, billion cards printed. I think I saw a statistic the other day that there are already more PSA graded Victor Wembanyama cards than PSA graded Steph Curry cards from his whole career. How is that possible? How can Panini do that to us? These cards cannot possibly even hold their head. They have got to go down. And I hate it, and I don't want it to be true, but I know it to be true, and I just can't open my wallet and buy Victor Wembanyama cards. The gem rate is preposterous. Here's one thing I did want to draw your attention to. Look at how many silver prisms have been graded by PSA, 3143. Look how many have been graded by Beckett, 109. Let's say it's 30x. 30x, right? How about this? Let's take a time machine back 20 years, exactly 21 years to 2003, and let's check out another ultra phenom rookie that hit the stage as a rookie and took the NBA by storm. LeBron James, 2003 Topps Chrome Refractor. We'll call that the equivalent of a Prism Silver, right? PSA graded 763. Look how many Beckett graded. Does that give you some idea how much different Beckett and PSA are today than what it was back then in 2003? When I do these videos and I try to tell people Beckett was the king of the world, it was king of the grading wars, and it wasn't even close. Here's your evidence right there. And again, this is PSA catching up a lot because a lot of people probably cracked these BGS and graded them with PSA. So if you go back to like 2005 and check, I bet it's even more lopsided in favor of Beckett. But Beckett graded, what is that? 40% more than PSA for LeBron James refractor rookie cards. But PSA has graded 30 times as many cards as Beckett for Victor Wembanyama's Prism Silver rookie cards. So I forgot I'm not on screen share. Now I'm on screen share. Here's the the crazy numbers that I was just showing you guys. I'm sorry about that. That was terrible. But everything I said still holds true. Trust me. So there's your PSA graded 3,143. PSA 10 silver prisms. Beckett's graded 109. A measly 109. Somebody didn't get the memo that PSA 10 carries all the value. And then there's your LeBron James. Beckett actually graded about 40% more, something like that, than PSA. 1243 to 753. I think it's just funny that right there can kind of give you the perspective of how the power of the world of grading, how that power shift, how that dynamic has changed over the last 20 years. And it might even be more, it might even be worse than that, because Beckett probably, a lot of those Becketts have been cracked and resubbed to PSA, in recent years, given the huge value disparity between PSA and Beckett, so. That's it, guys. That's it for the video. I just kind of wanted to draw your attention to Victor Wembanyama. I thought he got robbed for Rookie of the Year. I think he is going to be first-team All-NBA for the foreseeable future. I don't think there's any way, as long as the Spurs win 30 games, this kid is going to put up the numbers this season. Unless the Spurs do something to suppress him, I think he's going to get, if he gets 3 or 4 more minutes, you're talking about 27 and 12. How do you not put a guy who's 27 and 12 with 6 assists and leads the league in blocks and is definitely going to be the Defensive Player of the Year? How do you keep that guy all first-team All-NBA? I think he's first-team All-NBA for the foreseeable future. The issue would be Nikola Jokic. The issue would be Joel Embiid if he somehow stays healthy. I'm trying to think of who else in the world that's out there that plays, that front court position. And I think now, isn't it positionless to where it's just front court, back court? So you could have Jokic and Victor as the 1 and the 2. I guess Giannis could keep them off because Giannis is a front court player. Tatum's a front court player. But my God, dude, we're talking about somebody who's quite likely, if he stays healthy, God willing, again, I don't have a dog in this hunt. I don't own any of his cards. But you're talking about a potential 27 and 12 with 6 assists and, shoots 50% from the field, shoots 35% from 3, averages more than a steal a game, and then's probably going to block more than 4 shots a game in an era where that just doesn't happen. Rudy Gobert did it 13 times last year. Victor Wembanyama is going to average it. I really believe that. And so I think you're looking at the Defensive Player of the Year, first-team All-NBA, and an MVP candidate. If somehow the Spurs win 38 games, I literally think people are going to be talking about him as an MVP candidate. If they can even sniff 500, which I don't think is going to happen, but imagine if they did. So, we got an off season. You never know. They may pick up some players here and there and see what happens down there in San Antonio. So, thank you guys for watching. Let me know your thoughts on Victor Wembanyama. Can y'all look in the mirror and say, you know what? Give me a couple of silver prism PSA 10 Victor Wembanyama's right now. I just can't do that. I can't get myself to go do that. It's just too expensive. I mean, if we go back and look at it, let me kill this and get you back on screen share. Here's his silver PSA 10 prices. I mean, $950, $980, $1,000, $1,000, $995, $1,000, $980, $930, $930, $930, $930. It doesn't seem to be dropping off. It seems to be steady, $900 to $1,100, somewhere in that range. That's just crazy to me, y'all. And again, I bet you anything if we sort by price. I haven't done this yet, but I'm about to sort by price. I bet you anything that these things were significantly higher at some point. All right, $3,000. So at some point, somebody was paying consistently over $2,000, $2,500. So what we thought would happen happened, right? As these cards started getting graded, and the pop went from 100 to 400 to 800 to 1,200 to 1,800 to 2,000 to now over 2,000 cards graded PSA 10 with a 72% gem rate, right? Here's our PSA pop report. Just a reminder, 3,100 graded, 2,200 PSA 10. That's going to get to 3,000 one day, and 72% gem rate. How much is too much? Well, we know that's too much for 2,000. So those are about $1,000 each. I can't go buy this stupid card at $1,000 each. I just can't do it, man. This is what the chart looks like if we pull it up. I don't suspect it's going to get any better, although it does look to have plateaued. It's actually up in the last 3 months. No, in the last 3 months it's down. What about the last year? It's down significantly. What about the last 1 month? It's actually flattened out. So it looks like we've found that baseline at about $950 to $1,000, but it looks to me like there's a little upward trend here in the off season. I don't know. You guys let me know, what you think about that. Why does it say pop 1826 when this says pop 2275? So something's messed up on that. That doesn't make sense because this says pop 2275 and this says pop 1826. So something's wrong on card ladder there. Maybe need to get a fix on that. Anyway, that's it, guys. Just wanted to talk about Wemby a little bit just because he's on the tip of my mind. I keep seeing all these high-end parallels and all these PWCC weekly auctions. Let me know what you think. What is Panini doing? Are they killing one of the best rookies that we could possibly have ever collected? And I know people don't like big men, but he just seems to be different. He seems to be an exception. Just let me know in the comments. I'm curious to get other people's thoughts about what Panini's doing, what direction it's headed, and how you kind of approach collecting Victor Wembanyama in the comments. Maybe you just love the cards more than you love the money, and you don't care what the price is, and you know you got to get it now because people are going to hodl these forever. So let me know that in the comments if that's your perspective as well. Keep collecting, stay positive in the hobby, and peace.